Okay, let's talk through all these golf events that you have coming up.
Gabby, I'm glad you asked. Got my calendar right here. July 17th at Red Run, and then July 31st, I have the American Golf outing for the Cancer Society.
I also have the American Cancer Society golf outing on the 31st, and also I got yours on the 18th, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Whoa, boys, these are a lot of events and golf outings.
Well, you want me to miss my own golf tournament?
Gabby, they're all great calls.
I mean, this isn't...
Hold on. I got this. Guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Hold on a second.
He always...
Hey guys, thanks for coming so fast. How are ya? Remember the guys from Randy Wise, right? Sir. The Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Watch for the eye.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports. And some, well, not so much. Brought to you in part by Premier Security Solutions, Fairway Packing Company, and Swiss Insurance. Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Hey, let's go! Tuesday show, June 6, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com. If you're watching live, Ryan Ermanni, the great Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
It's been a long time since I've seen you, man.
Bray, you look so good today,
I appreciate it. Do you know why I'm wearing glasses?
I do not, but I am willing to understand.
You're willing to find out.
Yes.
Maz, do you know why I'm wearing glasses?
I do.
Today? You do?
I do.
Well, for those of you that don't know why I'm out there wearing glasses, today is National Sunglasses Day, but it doesn't stop
Get
there.
outta here.
It's also National Drive-In Movie Day. It doesn't stop there. It's also National Gardening Day. Maz, I come to you. I am so sick and tired of these different days. There are so many national days now. They got to triple up on the days. What say you, Tom Mazawey?
I'm done with it all. You know me. Don't get me started. Don't even go to the months monikers. Don't even go.
You don't like the months?
I don't like any of these months.
What is?
I don't like Movember. I don't like Women's Month. I don't like any month.
You get in trouble for talking about June. You better not talk about June.
You don't like Go Blue June month that is for men's prostate cancer?
No, I don't.
Do you hate the American Cancer Society?
No, I love them.
No,
I love them.
Do you?
May is mental health.
Yeah.
You don't.
I love
like
that
hate
too.
May? Do you hate May?
No, I love May. My daughter Abby is born in May. I love May.
You know what's coming.
Do you hate February?
I love February. That's my month. That's Braylon's month.
Man, I love you so much, dude. I mean,
I can't help
you
it,
are
man.
so
It's the
unique,
best.
dude.
Why does everything have to have a name now? What's next month? Really, look it up.
Okay,
what's July?
What is July?
What's July?
Okay, what
I know Juneteenth
is
is coming up soon.
July?
What is
July, the 7th month of the year. What is
God.
July known for? Okay. Here you go.
Is it Latin American?
Ready? Nope. Ready? July. There are several awareness months celebrated in July.
Okay.
Though the 5 that often get the most attention include Disability Pride Month, National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, French American Heritage Month, National Bison Month, and Plastic Free Month. That is what July is. To answer your question,
Okay.
National Bison Month?
Yes, and Plastic Free July.
Plastic Free
Yes.
July, National
Want
Bison
to keep
Month.
the environment free from plastic, which
So
is
I-
all
so-
great causes.
So I can't drink out of this
which
in
is
July?
all great causes.
In July, this can't be used?
You should not in
Okay.
the month of July,
Well, it's
just
June
for
still.
awareness.
You better get it in.
Absolutely.
You better get it in. That's funny. So not only are they coming up with multiple days, now there are multiple purposes month-wise.
Right, Braylon. How was the golf game yesterday? Randy Wise celebrity outing.
It was not. It was a.
It was a DSBA.
Yeah, it was a DGC, the media outlet
Oh,
for it. It wasn't Rocket Mortgage. It was just the media outlet.
On the track at the DSBA. Something like that.
Something on that. I mean,
you were playing at the Detroit Golf Club.
yes. I wish I would have been playing for LIV because that's where the money is.
How did you hit him yesterday?
Hit him okay.
Yeah.
Hit him decent. You know what I'm saying? One thing about scrambles, as you know.
Who'd you play with? Do you know who you played with?
I never remember. I never remember. But the one thing about playing on scrambles, it messes up your golf game because you don't get a chance to shoot your own shots the whole hole. Your drive, your approach shot, your chips, your putts, your misses, your duffs, your sand traps, your sand outs. You get to play the best shot all the time, which means you swing for the fences. So I never typically play well after playing in scrambles.
I will only play, and I mentioned this yesterday on the show, Braylon, you and I have not talked, but I will only play scramble golf from here on in. I will never hit my own ball for the entire round ever again. Right. I will never do it. I'm just not doing it. I played 90 holes of golf over over a 3-day period.
That's gross.
It was
How many have you played in the last couple of years?
Is
this more?
Probably 72 holes more in the last 3 days that I've played in the last 5 years combined.
Good for you.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
No doubt. So it was scramble format only. I'll never play golf where I hit my own ball ever again.
I'm not mad at it. It is a lot of fun to play scramble. There's no pressure. There's no responsibility playing that way. It is a lot more fun. It allows you to hang out with the guys. It allows you to have a couple in the cooler, as they say. But it does mess up the golf game if you're a guy that likes to golf. So I try to make sure I'm only doing the ones I got to.
Parker Brown is with us today again in the TD booth and back in the audio booth, the great Jeremy Bryant. JB is back with us today. It is always good when we have my left arm, my right arm, which is JB. So important and crucial to the show, gotta say. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. How's everybody feeling? I'm glad to be back.
Everybody's doing great. Everybody's doing great. Parker's doing great over here today. I mean, and Maz, you're throwing the kitchen sink at Parker here.
I am.
And he's coming through with flying colors. This
gotta
guy
do it.
Got out of college 3 weeks ago.
I know.
He comes in.
He wanted to work. We're working him.
And he
Maz,
is doing well.
Maz is going to break you in. Maz is going to break the TD guy booth, and he is going to be on top of it. So don't take it personal, but he is coming.
After working with Maz, every job you have now after this
it's easier.
Will be easier. It's kind of like in racing, like the Super Bowl of races comes first, the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500. And then every week after that is a little bit easier. We also got my main man, Caden, in the house today. Michigan State student checking us out today. So, boo. Tuck coming, baby. Tuck coming.
In a wheelchair.
Had to get that in. Yeah. But big show for you guys today. We'll talk Lions minicamp. We will talk Stanley Cup Finals, the Tigers. But we will start with the news that really turned the internet and everything upside down. When I heard the news today that the PGA Tour was merging with LIV Golf, I almost fell out of my chair. And I had to go to what Tom Mazawey does to make sure it wasn't from the New York porch. And I was looking at verifications, the CNBC. I made sure they had the yellow
the
badge
peacock,
and then
exactly.
the NBC badge. I couldn't believe it. Braylon, what was your first reaction to this? And how do you feel after some hours now of digesting the news? And we don't know a lot of the details. A lot of the details will come out. The fact that they were even at a table talking about a merger, let alone finalizing a deal to merge, really knocked me off my socks today. Yeah,
my first thought was, I mean, how many people are going to apologize to Phil Mickelson, and where does the line start? I think that because that's the first thing I thought about when Phil Mickelson came off on behalf of LIV. Everybody crucified Phil Mickelson on terms of the Saudi money, in terms of what it was to be in bed with blood money, those things. Everybody crucified him for basically trying to get the just due that he felt like the PGA players deserved, the PGA players were worth, and what they had built over the years. Phil Mickelson, you talk about Greg Norman, you talk about the individuals that left, Dustin Johnson. These are your premier players, and all they were saying that they deserved a little piece more of that pie. And now here they are. The PGA is realizing the same things. They merged with LIV Golf Tournament. And you got to really thank Phil. You got to thank Phil Mickelson. He took the bullet. He took a lot of shit for the last year. So don't start apologizing all at once.
And you see it right there. An awesome day today with a smiley face. Phil Mickelson is a guy that was really one of the first major defectors of the PGA Tour.
He helped set it
going over to LIV, helping set up that whole thing, and he wins today.
Yeah, he does.
Brooks Koepka wins today. Just to go backwards first, Jay Monahan, the PGA commissioner, a lot of players are calling for his resignation today. A lot of big-name players. This from Sports Illustrated. Golf fans are calling for PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan to resign after the merger with LIV Golf. There's a report that many of the big-name PGA Tour players are also calling for that resignation. And a lot of that stems from how critical he was.
Right.
You know, earlier this year, Jay Monahan was on CBS with Jim Nantz and talking. Hello, friends. Talking about the defections and really just. I'm trying to use my words carefully here too, because he talked about essentially the blood money that you're taking from the Saudi-backed tour. The moral high ground.
There you go.
How many of the players on the PGA Tour ever had to apologize for being on the PGA Tour? We are more moral than you.
Yeah.
The holier than thou crowd, the high moral crowd, the I'm better than you crowd.
I pray you don't. I care you don't.
What do you say today? What do you say today? And if you are in that camp, how do you, in good conscience, now cover the tour? I think it's a great question. I think it's a legitimate question. If you are so morally high, on some high ground, that you cannot fathom how a player could take $100 million, $200 million, $80 million from whoever.
Yeah.
If you are so moral that you can't understand how somebody can do that, well, then how can you go then and cover a sport, which the PGA Tour just did now, exactly what those individual golfers did some months ago?
Yeah. As it relates to Monahan, first of all, he should definitely not get resigned. He should definitely not resign. He should definitely not be fired. He should definitely not be moved from the PGA. And you know why, Ryan Ermanni? He made a mistake last year. He forced some guys to say some things about the LIV, about the Saudi money, about the connection, how they raise their profits, etc. He made a lot of morale decisions as it relates to them and the shots that he fired. But he also realized, you know what? I can pay our golfers with this money. There are ways to pay these golfers with this money. They got the money. They got the cash. They want to come in. They want to pay these players. These players clearly want to get paid. They deserve to get paid. Why not we let them why not we let them pay them? And why don't we merge with them? It made all the sense in the world. Now they've merged. When Brooks Koepka won the PGA recently, like when he won the U.S. Open, he wins, I think it was a PGA. He wins the PGA championship, but he's no longer on the tour because he's over there, like you alluded to. Dustin Johnson's not on the tour. People watch golf for the celebrity effect. And since Tiger is no longer in golf, you watch for the other ones. The collective makes the majors. You get a Dustin, you put him with Brooks, you put him with DeChambeau, you put him with Phil Mickelson. All that together creates that allure, that Tiger, that you don't have when you don't have Tiger. But if all these guys are overseas, I'm not watching some freaking outing because Tony Scheffler is the number one golfer in the world. No disrespect. He's the most boring golfer in the world. I'm not watching it for him. I want to see Brooks. I want to see Dustin. I want to see the big names, the big stars.
Hey, Parker, put up the tweet. These are the players, some of the players that turned down the LIV blood money, as they called it. You think Tiger Woods could have used that extra money for some of his expenses?
Well, Tiger Woods $800 million, Rory $500 million, Hideki Matsuyama $300 million, and Will Zalatoris $130 million. Now we could talk more about this. I was going to get to this in just a couple of minutes, this part of it, but those players, what will happen with those players now? Because you are going to want your big name players to be happy at work. So will they get a cut of what was offered to them potentially? More on that moment.
But when we get back, because I did jump your initial question, I definitely want to get to those people that were higher than thou, those people with the morale clauses, those, because that definitely is a great thing to point out.
Absolutely, and we'll get to some of those media members too that were so, oh my gosh,
man, this is America. We don't do those type of things.
We don't do this.
How
we
could
don't
you?
take that
How
money.
could you?
How
What
man.
about Butler's Cabin?
What would Benjamin Franklin say?
Oh my gosh, enough with
Oh,
it.
Butler's Cabin.
Hey guys, right after the show, one of the things that I'm going to be doing today is going to Fairway Packing.
Ooh.
I'm going to buy some steaks. Going to have a little barbecue with the fam tonight.
Ooh.
Looking for the perfect gift for this Father's Day. Look no further than Fairway Packing Company's Steak Shop. You've got ribeyes, New York strips, tomahawks, porterhouses, even gift cards. You can join Woodward Sports Friday, June 16th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. as we broadcast live from Fairway Packing Steak Shop in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue. You can visit Fairway Packing Company today. We'll be there on the 16th. I'm actually going to be there after the show today. You can order online as well, fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Subscribe to Woodward Sports on YouTube. Coming up on less than 100 subscribers away from 44,000. How about that? Less than 100 subscribers away from 44,000 on YouTube. Hit the like button for us as well. Let's see if we can get to over 50 likes by the end of this segment. Talking about this incredible news today. The LIV Golf and PGA Tour are going to merge. And a lot of old tweets are being rehashed. A lot of old sound bites are being rehashed today and looked at and examined. Braylon, you were tweeting a lot this morning about the fake outrage portion of it.
Yeah, 100%. It's fake outrage. I think people on Twitter, people on social media, people in public, they like to be fake outrage. You look at the situation last year with Tua Tagovailoa with his injuries. He had the 3 concussions, and then the people went to they took to Twitter. Oh my God, I can't believe the Miami Dolphins are playing. They such a shame. The NFL, blah blah blah. People that don't even watch football, the fake outrage. That is what you saw with the whole LIV thing in the beginning. You know, we have tweets for months and months and months back as it relates to the fake outrage. People coming out of nowhere and just, they want to use Saudi money. I can't believe them. Shame on these people. How would you ever, considering what that money has done in this country or what we've been, blah, blah. Just tons of tweets, tons of fake outrage from people that don't watch golf, that don't know anything, that have put, as you've said, Ryan and Mike, put in this situation, you name somebody that's turned on that type of money that they were throwing at those individuals that didn't have a backdoor deal, like Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, that didn't have backdoor deals. So that fake outrage stuff, now that they've merged, now where is the fake outrage going? Now where does that energy go?
And again, Bray, the thing with the fake outrage that I never understood, okay, listen, I wish everything was on the up and up, and I wish everything was morally sound and all that stuff.
Sunshines and rainbows.
I wish the world was all sunshine and rainbows.
But I
absolutely wish that. But that's just not how it works.
It doesn't.
Okay, the same people who are outraged about Brooks Koepka taking $100+ million from LIV are the same people that are wearing their Nikes with their iPhones and their AirPods and everything else.
Oh, by the way,
where's that stuff made? How's that stuff made?
Do you know where they're making these fake outrage on Twitter? You know who owns Twitter? Saudi Arabia. 35% share of that.
Yeah,
Put your phone down.
And even the human rights violations in China. Why don't you go to all the companies that you do business with?
TikTok.
TikTok.
China.
But what about these sweatshops where some of these products that we use every day,
out of sight, out of mind.
You don't see that. You don't see what they're paying their employees. You don't see the human rights violations. You don't see what they do to women and what they do to everybody else that might not be what. I mean, I don't freaking know. Yeah. You know what I'm getting at? It just it infuriates me so much that how people can just really have this. Lift your nose up. I'm better than you. You are not better than me. Wearing your Nikes,
no, you're not.
Using your iPhone and commenting on your nice Apple Max,
or tablet, or whatever the hell you use it. Maz, you can even speak to the fake outrage, and bringing you in on this is all this fake outrage is always something that people that are complaining about don't watch. Don't care about.
Correct.
Doesn't affect them. It's not in their wheelhouse. They can't name you one golfer. They don't understand what a score is, what a birdie is, what an albatross is. They don't understand the connections. It's always something that people have no idea, no concept about. All the people complaining about Tua, guarantee you they're not in the medicine, they're not in the NFL, they're not in the quarterbacks, they're not even in Alabama University. They couldn't even tell you where Tua went. That's my issue with fake rage. Yeah. The people, it does not affect them. The people that have that outrage.
Take it back all the way to when they wanted the Washington Redskins to change their name, and the Indians, and the Red Hawks, and the Red anything. That's where it started, guys. And you let it out of the bag, and now you get all of this crap. And the thing I'm most disappointed is, I'm not a big golf guy, but you know what?
You hate golf.
I do, but I would have watched LIV against PGA. I would have watched a match like that, like a Ryder Cup match.
That right there is what you were calling for the whole time, right?
That's what you
were So you're not going to get to see that. And it's just a bunch of rich guys getting together. That's why I can't. I'm just not into it. It is what it is. I'll see you at Butler Cabin in April.
So just talking about some of the fake outrages. So Brooks Koepka, obviously fresh off a win at the PGA Championship, and of course
that's when I had to make that deal.
You go back to the Masters on Sunday. 3 of the top 6 golfers on that leaderboard were LIV golfers. Yeah. How are you going on a tour week in and week out when a lot of the best golfers are on that other tour? Yeah. How are you going to have a Ryder Cup team without Brooks Koepka on it?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
It can't happen.
Yeah,
it can't happen. So Brooks Koepka tweeted out today, welfare check on Chambly. So Brandel Chambly is a analyst.
Great name, by the way. Brandel.
Yeah,
he sounds like a
former PGA Tour pro, frequently outspoken about LIV, accused the players who took the payouts to join LIV, including Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, and Patrick Reed, of helping the Saudi regime sports wash their money, their image. Last year, Patrick Reed filed a $750 million lawsuit against Chambly and the Golf Channel, accusing the analyst of calculated malicious attacks that have had a direct effect on his livelihood. I mean, there were when these golfers went over to LIV, they lost their sponsorships.
Yeah, they did.
That they had here in this country.
And that's why there's a big outrage for Monahan, because Monahan was behind a lot of that. Monahan kind of told those guys, hey, you still want to work with the PGA Tour, then you need to remove yourself from working with set individuals. That's why the resign of him, I do understand from that angle.
I do think this also came out of left field. And I think that's why so many PGA Tour pros were caught off guard this morning. Many of them.
How could they be, by the way?
I don't know. I do think they are, because 4 days ago, put this up, Eamon Lynch is a writer for is an analyst for
the Golf
the Golf Network. Do we have that? Okay.
You do. It's the 5th one down in the PGA.
But anyway, Eamon Lynch on Filth wrote 4 days ago. I'm trying to find this. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, take your time, bro.
I'll find it, actually, because I do think it's important.
It is important.
It was him blasting Phil Mickelson.
Phil Mickelson's Twitter bluster can't distract from his reality as a shameless pawn for murderers.
Yeah, I remember when that first happened.
That is really sick stuff to write about somebody.
It's really sick.
How can this guy go back and cover the tour. How can he You're calling somebody a shameless pawn for murderers. What do you think about your employer now, Amon Lynch?
Yeah, put that in your pipe.
Your employer just did exactly what Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka and everybody else you accuse them of doing. So is your employer now a shameless pawn for murderers?
He got railroaded. This guy got railroaded.
That was not 4 months
I know,
ago.
3
That was
days.
not a year ago. That was written 4 days ago.
And here goes the other interesting thing about it. You know, that being 4 days.
Actually,
3, even less. Why is it, Ryan, when it's the government? The answer. This is obviously it's rhetorical. When it's the government versus a civilian, it's a big difference. When it's the government, it's no big deal that they work for Saudi Arabia. For the past 80 years, they've worked with Saudi Arabia into some capacity. But when it's a civilian, oh, shame on the civilian. Shame on the player. When it's the owner of a franchise, Ryan, we don't ever give them grief. We might take their team, but we don't give them grief. But if it's a player, oh, we're going to light that player up. We're going to try to take everything from that player. There's a situation like that going on currently in the NBA, if you understand my drift.
Look at Washington.
Look at the CEO, Monahan, the president, versus Phil Mickelson, versus Dustin Johnson. Why is it that the individual always get treated a certain way, but not the big dogs?
It's a great question.
Not the big dogs.
I don't know, and I think a lot of the people in our business who, like this guy, Amon Lynch. You know, a lot of these people set the tone for the conversation, and it's people like him who writes BS stories like that, calling people pawns for murderous regimes. That sets a fervor and just a violence about a public sentiment that I think that's why we are in the situation we are in right now, because media people like this are just gaslighters.
They create the line.
Gaslighters. Parker, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I feel like the same people that are complaining about it right now are going to be the same people that are cheering on the fact that this happened like 2 months from now, when the LIV and PGA merger is one of the most successful things to happen in sports history. I guarantee you they're going to come crawling back saying, oh, I believed it the entire time. No, you didn't.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And what they'll do, and they'll come back very slowly too. Like, it won't be all of a sudden. It won't be right away. Like, they will take their sweet time, easing into it, and then it'll be like they were never on that other side. But just getting back to the fake outrage, just getting back to the people. See, it's a dangerous game that he plays. What's his name? It's Amon
Lynch.
Amon Lynch. He puts this media out. He puts this out. And now they merge 3 days after he puts this comment on. He probably put out much more content before that last that 3 days ago. Now he's in a situation where you put all this out there. Now what do? You got to be careful what you choose to be fakely outraged about, or what you choose to be outraged with at all. Because he said all these comments. He's acting like this was going to be end all. It was always going to be PGA. Everybody team PGA. Well, now it's PGA and LIV. And nobody thinks and remembers the comments that you made. He has a fitting last name because his words definitely lynched him.
For how many? For people out there, I mean, legitimately, legitimate question. If, let's just say round number, you make $50,000 at your job, and I offered you, or not me, and some company out there that was based in Saudi Arabia or Russia, let's say Russia, Saudi Arabia, whatever, offered you $150,000 to do the job that you're currently doing, but just put in less hours.
Yeah, of course you'd go.
Of course you'd go.
Of course.
So Colin Cowherd on his show today, I want to read the quote for you.
Yeah.
Ready? He says, I was offered 6 figures to do stuff with LIV Golf. I was invited to tournaments. I said no thank you, but I didn't lecture sportscasters that did. I didn't lecture anybody that did. And that encapsulates exactly how I feel about it. I don't care if you did. I don't care if you didn't.
Yeah.
But I have no grounds to tell you what to do with your life. Period.
Fact.
End of story. I have no basis to tell you or to be outraged for you to do something that you think is best for your family. I don't see it, and I just hate it when people in our business choose to do that.
I wish I would have been in that situation. I wish I would have been a golfer around this time and got offered, because I would have went with no hesitation. I would have left. You talking about taking care of family, generations of family, setting up that wealth. You talking that wealth that lasts forever, setting up my community. I would have cared too less what idiots like this were writing about, what they were saying. If I was Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, because those individuals they literally can help cities. They can help family for years and years to come with the money that they proclaim, with something that the guy gave them, which is the gift of golf.
Remember this.
Idiots.
Remember this. If every PGA Tour pro told the PGA, yeah, we're going to LIV, the PGA would have found the money to give them to stay. They always could find the money. These big NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, all these big conglomerates, they got the money. You just got to push them.
Yeah, they found the money, and what happened is, because they start raising the purses. If you remember when LIV started till now, the purses have gone up significantly on tour. But you know how you get the purses up? Now I gotta tell Coca-Cola, hey, can you kick a little extra in this year? We need an extra $2 million from you. Hey, from Rolex, we're gonna need an extra $750,000 for you. Now you gotta start picking the penny pinching deals to make the purse go up. The sponsors as well as the PGA was like, or here's a bright idea. We can just get with LIV and get more money, like they initially told us to.
Hey,
ding, 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 ding.
Speaking of money, I do believe there is a player in the NFL that now is being looked at for gambling on his own team, and they don't know right now. It's not being reported whether he bet on or against that team. Does the NFL need to just scrap everything and start from scratch on this gambling? Because when I tell you the amount that he wagered, you might fall off your chair. But first, a message from Big Boy.
Big Boy, you know
Cliffhanger.
It's Strawberry Fest. It's Strawberry Fest. So get on down to your local Big Boy and start off early with those strawberry pancakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. And if you're not feeling breakfast, why don't you try that strawberry bacon chicken wrap, or just chill out with a nice refreshing summer splash salad. And don't you leave without dessert. The classic strawberry pie with fresh whipped cream on it, that's going to be right up your alley. Or you can do the deep fried vanilla Oreo or the brand new strawberry hot fudge cake. It all sounds delicious. Plus you can just get a Big Boy at your local Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
You know, we were just talking about our business, and I just don't think there are many people better at this job than Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And I'll put Colin up against anybody in the business. There might not be anybody smarter that is more equipped at sharing an evidence-based, factual-based argument than him. He doesn't yell. He doesn't scream. He gives facts and analysis based on those facts.
Doesn't call you names?
Yeah, he's not a name caller. If you disagree with him, he wants to know why.
Yeah.
And then he says, okay, you can disagree.
And you move on. I don't think there's anybody smart. Now there is an absolute lane for the yellers and the screamers. Clearly, there is a lane for that. But for my taste, if I was a young broadcaster out there,
Yeah.
if I was a young sportscaster, if I was in college right now trying to do this job, I would watch how Colin Cowherd goes about his business, how prepared he is.
Yeah, 100%. Like, one of the biggest things, and it piggybacks perfect after you say how well he prepared is. I feel like I learned something when I watch Colin Cowherd. I feel like by the end of his 2-3 hours, however long his show is, if it's on and I'm watching, I feel like I learned something. I feel like he'll add something. He also, like you said, he'll say, what's your side? What do you think? He puts things out there. This is just what I think. This doesn't have to be correct. This is what I think. I think when people put things like that, they take time, they listen to you, say, look, you may agree here. Like, one of his biggest things is talking about who's the best player of all time, the Mount Rushmore. He says it's impossible to quantify who's the best player of all time because his eras, his decades. So what he does, and I know this is, I kind of pivoted to the right over, but he does the most, like the 7 best or most influential players of all time. That's something that you quantify. When you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Jordan or Steph Curry or LeBron.
Dr. J.
Like, those are things you can quantify. Shaq. Those are things you can quantify. So, yeah, I do rock with Colin Cowherd. He's not always right.
Right. Well, sure.
But no one is.
Right. And you can disagree with him, but at least he has a reason for the way that he...
I don't feel like I hurt his feelings by disagreeing with him.
Yeah, he just doesn't say stuff just to say it. It's based on something. Guys, the NFL could banish Indianapolis Colts cornerback Isaiah Rodgers for life for pervasive gambling. This is from Pro Football Talk, including wagers involving the Indianapolis Colts, the team in which he plays for, which obviously is the biggest no-no in professional sports. You just can't do it. So,
listen, gambling is a no-no when it comes to, if you're playing in a sport, you're betting everything. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, dude.
But come on, man. Pete Rose was betting everything. I just believe when you're gambling everywhere. That's all. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, that's fine. Let me put up the statement from cornerback Isaiah Rodgers. This from Ari Meirov, who sent this in. This is via Instagram. Addressing the current reports, I want to take full responsibility for my actions. I know I have made mistakes, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to repair the situation. The last thing I ever wanted to do was be a distraction to the Colts organization, my coaches, and my teammates. I've let people down that I care about. I made an error in judgment, and I'm going to work hard to make sure that those mistakes are rectified, I should say, through this process. It is an honor to play in the NFL, and I've never taken that lightly. I am very sorry for all of this. I think the NFL should scrap its gambling policy and start over. He bet between $25 and $50. So he's going to lose his career on...
He better not.
He's going to lose his career on $25 and $50 bets.
Come on,
Those are the numbers that are being thrown around. Not 25 to 50 grand.
Yeah.
Now at that point I think some kind of way. When you are betting $25 to $50 as an NFL player, that means you have no idea what you're doing. You just don't. And as a former gambler, I will tell you 100% this person has no idea what he's doing. You don't bet. You don't risk your career. You don't think you're going to get thrown out of the league for gambling for making a bet of $25 to $50. That's just willy-nilly, not paying attention, no idea about these rules. It is just not right. What the NFL, and I've changed my stance on this, Braylon. I should have listened to you day one when you said it, but I didn't, and I apologize to you. I needed to figure it out for myself. Yeah. But the league, these teams do a piss-poor job at educating the players on gambling. Gone are the days. These players don't know who Pete Rose is.
No.
These players don't know what the Black Sox scandal was. They have no idea. They don't care. When you play Major League Baseball 20, 30, 40 years ago, you walk into a clubhouse, you walk into a locker room, the very first thing you see, do not bet on baseball. It's in the dugout. It's over the players' lockers.
It's in the training room.
This era of athlete did not grow up in that line of thinking about gambling.
Yeah.
Now, gambling is fun. Gambling is entertainment.
And legal.
You can gamble legally at home, on your phone, in the stadium, at a restaurant, at the bar. You can gamble anywhere. Gambling is cool. Gambling is awesome. Gambling is what you do to go have a good time. These players need to be educated, and I think the NFL should scrap it and start over.
Ryan and Ermanni, first of all, you do not ever owe me an apology, sir. But I appreciate what you said. I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where when Calvin really $1,500 to lose, upwards of $3 million. You look at what the players lost from Detroit Lions, what Jamison Williams is going to lose in them 6 weeks versus what he was betting. And now you look at this situation, see what this young man was betting versus what he stands to lose, man. They got to do that would be a great idea, Ryan. Like, I don't even know if they would have the wherewithal to do that, but that would be great. Give everybody a do-over. Like, just give everybody a start over. Announce the rules. I don't think it works like that, but if it did, my God, that would be something great.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, but it should.
It should. I mean, excuse me, it should.
Right.
But what they got to do is they got to go all in or all out. And then what I'm talking about is to the players. Like, you got to have a captain lead the meeting for each team, whoever the captain is for a set particular team, and you got to say, hey, look, guys, this is what we're going to do. We can't let this gambling stuff affect us, because it's starting to affect teams, it's starting to affect players, it's starting to affect coaches. You're starting to see, is the NFL really providing them information? Are the players just choosing not to listen to the information that they've been given? So they got to say, hey, you know what, look, no betting on the NFL, period.
The NFL, the key language from the NFL 2022 gambling policy, disciplinary action may include, without limitation, severe penalties up to and including a fine, termination of employment, and or banishment from the NFL for life, Tom Mazawey.
Yeah, those are heavy, heavy rules, and they were in 2022. Since 2022, the NFL is in bed with even more gambling sites. I think the NFL is at fault. I said it from day one. I think everything should be starting over. I think Calvin Ridley should get his money back for the year he lost. I think all these players from the Lions that were banished for a year should be back. And I think Jamison Williams' 6-game suspension should be rescinded. Start again. Start from scratch. Let everyone know, everyone, including the fans, exactly what is expected and not expected of a player that plays in the National Football League.
It's just so much uncertainty here. It's like, hey, you know what? You can make a bet over here, but you can't make that same bet over here. You can't bet on this team, but you can bet on this sport. You can't bet over here, but you can bet.
Right.
Oh,
don't bet here, but go across Woodward over there.
Woodward and you
go
can
across Woodward and put your bet in over there.
It's too much uncertainty, and I know people out there like, why do they feel the need to bet? Why are you gambling?
Because it's fun.
Because it's not to mention everybody ain't Patrick Mahomes. Like, everybody's not Patrick Mahomes. Like, you see, like some of these players, you're seeing they're not walk-ons, it's not college, but they're unsigned free agents. They're guys on the practice squad. A lot of the guys aren't making $40, $50, $60 million a year. It's guys that are making around $20,000, about $40,000 a month per se. So I just think you just gotta scrap the whole idea. Like that, you take the decision out of the hands. You can't bet on the NFL. Just make it, it's as simple as that. You can't bet on the NFL. Because if you have gray area where you can bet over here, you can't bet over there, or you can bet on this team but just not that team, well, you can't bet on this team because you're playing them this game. Look, just don't allow them to bet on the NFL at all. They can bet on whatever the hell else they want to bet on. Yeah. They can also bet at the facility if they want to, because it's on their mobile device, just like social media.
Thank you.
You just can't bet on football. When you get rid of the gray area, Ryan and Ermanni, you don't have gray area.
That is perfectly said.
You can't bet football.
You can't bet football. Do whatever the hell else you want.
Yeah.
It's your phone. It's your freaking life. Do what you want. I showed you a ticket yesterday from the Circa. A guy put $100 on 3 future champions. He bet Argentina in the World Cup. He bet on Vegas in the NHL, and he bet on the Denver Nuggets to win the NBA championship. That 3-team parlay is going to bring him what? $74,000.
$74,000.
So these kids see that and they're like, oh, Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
$25 for
I'll do,
$75,000.
I'll do that. That's fun.
I'll give it a shot. Booner, our good friend Booner, wrote in the chat, I just can't wrap my head around the NFL having that issue. How haven't the NBA had the issues? And MLB, NHL, there's two answers I have to that question.
I got an answer for that, too.
The other leagues do a better job at educating their players. That's number one. And number two, there is no sport that gets bet on more than the NFL. The NFL is the NFL because of betting. The league is as big as it is now because of the betting. Las Vegas helped make the NFL into what the NFL is today. So that league specifically is built upon gambling.
Also, in the NFL, you'll have one contract be, let's just say Kirk Cousins, which is $50 million a year, and then you'll have the last guy on the NFL practice squad making $400,000 a year. In the NBA, last man on the bench makes 3.5, whereas the starter makes about $60 million. So the discrepancies in money is much different too.
Speaking of other sports, we'll get to the National Hockey League. Is Vegas is this even going to be worth the final, Maz? You're Florida Panthers. My goodness,
I am.
We'll get through the NFL, some Tigers talk too, but first a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right, Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, right there on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Find new roads.
Find them.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. How would you like to win not one, but two vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to woodwardsports.com for all the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise. Lions on the field in Allen Park. Part of a mandatory mini camp. We'll get more news on that coming up. Braylon, Stanley Cup Finals is not keeping my interest. I did tune in last night. I had to scour the channel, to scour the guide.
To find where it was at?
For where it was. It wasn't.
What did I tell you to do? Just go to CBC.
Was it on ABC? Was it on ESPN? Was it on USA? Was it on
USA?
It was on TNT.
Did you check the Outdoor Network?
Oh my gosh! Remember the Outdoor Network?
Yeah, that's where hockey started.
Yeah, that's right.
ESPN 8, the old show.
Yeah, right. But it was on TNT.
Sports Quarterly.
And this thing isn't even close.
Yeah.
I mean, the blowouts that the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I do not think that it is okay for a team to not have to just
have a tough road in the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 years, 2 Stanley Cup Finals, and most likely going to win this year's Stanley Cup Final.
It's gross.
I just don't like it. I don't think it should be that way.
It's gross, but everything is about the money. Everything is about branching out, moving forward. I mean, we just spent 45 minutes talking about LIV Golf and how much money they stand to make, or how much money the PGA stands to make by merging. It's the same thing with sports here in the United States of America. NHL wants to show the people, the different cities, you can have different teams. Hey, look. If you build a stadium, if you get a team, we'll help you out. We'll give you some players that are good. We'll give you a bunch of young draft picks. We'll even sign up for a coach. That way, more teams start to do it. What, 30 teams in hockey? NFL has 32. Well, get ready because it's going to be more, man. I love seeing how teams can build rapidly. NFL did it once, twice too. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at what the Jags did. You look at what the Carolina Panthers did. But they definitely cheated in the NHL for the Golden Knights. But hey, you know what? It's here now. It's something new, and Vegas is the place, man. You got the Raiders You have the Aces, and I got to go tonight. So.
And they will have the A's.
And they will have the A's.
They'll have
there
four
you go.
major sports teams in no time.
So they just have need
They'll have
an
the
NBA
LeBrons.
team.
Yeah,
the LeBrons are coming.
LeBron will get that the NBA franchise there most likely.
Him and Bronny will be playing for them.
Either way.
So Tom Brady and LeBron will both own teams in Vegas.
That's where you want to be, right? I mean, that's the hot spot. That's where the money markets are.
I just got something to say, and it's not a big deal. Hey, Vegas, they earned their way into the playoffs. They were the best team in the West all year. Florida snuck in. They were the best team the previous year. If you remember, they were the President's Trophy winner.
Yeah.
But here's this deal, man. You can't expect a team that was flying high like Florida. They just destroyed teams.
Yeah.
They beat the Bruins, best team in hockey by far. They just rolled through the Devils, and they rolled through the Hurricanes, and they rolled up to now into the finals. But you can't take 2 weeks off. Look at the 06 Tigers. Come on, man. That's how old this jersey is. This is an 06. They don't make this crap anymore. You know what? In 06, the Tigers were the best team by far. And the Cardinals snuck in, and they went 7 games and made it to the World Series just in the nick of time to wipe out the Tigers. You cannot stop your season for 10 days to 2 weeks and expect that team to continue playing like they were.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And can I just make
please, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think what you're doing, Tom, is exactly what I say what I've said for the last 2 Januaries, for the last 2 December 31sts. When Michigan is rolling. I do not think, and I know the other teams have to do it too, I just do not think you can play your best football, baseball, hockey when you have a layoff like that. And when other teams like a TCU does it too, there is going to be a winner and a loser. There's no ties in football.
Yeah.
So two crappy teams are gonna win, and one's gonna win, one's gonna lose. One team's gonna move on, the other team's not. But I just don't think that's a really good way to get your champion. And that's why after this year, it's changing in college football. But you're the pro here.
Yeah.
Have you ever played your best game week 1?
No. And it's funny you say that. You know? Like, I don't think I've ever had a good first game of the season in NFL at least. College, yeah, but that's different. You play in Miami of Ohio, that doesn't count. Maz, it's funny you brought that out 06. I actually wanted to play the Cardinals because I did not want to play the Mets. Johan Santana was on that mind. I was like, man, we get the Mets. I said I didn't want to play the Mets. I said, we get the Cardinals. Hell yeah. Guess I should have won.
I think they won 84 games that year.
Yeah.
The Cardinals. They were like 84 and 78.
That's why I wanted to play them. I was excited. I didn't want to play the Mets, and here we are. But
that could have been my dream World Series.
It could have, 100%. You say this all day. You got your Mets and you got your Tigers. You talk about it, man. Every year you talking about that break in between. Mm-hmm. And to your point, if you're a team like TCU, and this is no disrespect to them, you know they're not as good as Georgia. You know they're not as good as Michigan. A break only helps them. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a team that's rolling along, a break does, if you're
coming off an Ohio State win, a slaughter,
ass whooping,
a slaughter.
Let's call it what it was.
And TCU's coming in off a loss.
Exactly. They didn't even sneak. They snuck in.
Yeah.
And look how Michigan even performed in the Big Ten championship game after the high of winning in Columbus.
Still was like, all right,
it was like, let's show up and beat these guys. This sucks too. I mean,
but it happens though, and you got to look at. But you have to look at both sides. You look at last year. There was another team that was flying high last year in the Stanley Cup. And it was the eventual Stanley Cup winner, the Denver Avalanche. They had 2 sweeps last year in the Western Conference. They swept twice, and then they rolled through the playoffs. So it happens on both sides. I mean, it happens on both sides. You
can't take 11 days off in a sport where you're playing every other day. You just can't.
So what do you have let me ask you. So what do you
have? They should have started last Wednesday.
So
Braylon.
Do you have the fail safe where it's like, all right, cool, like this is where we allowed the time in case
Correct.
all the game 7s call. Yes. But if it doesn't make the all game 7s, then we have this is the point we start at.
You gotta move it up.
If they can move a Sunday NFL game to a Thursday night,
you're damn right,
or a Sunday game to a Monday, they can look at the schedule and say, okay, we can't in good conscience start this 11 days later. I mean, there has got to be a situation or an agreement with the arenas, with the networks, if the arenas are open and you don't have some Taylor Swift concert or Beyonce concert or whoever. If the arena is open, and we can get you in, we'll play.
Your closet Swifty.
Oh God, I am nauseated by all of it. I'm nauseated
but you know what it comes down to, Ryan Mazin. This is going to be the topic for today's show. This is the subject matter. It's money, because you guarantee it in terms of they already have those slots, those commercial slots, those packages paid out years in the making, especially the year before the season. So they already got a package that dictates certain amount of commercials that they'll get from set time to set time, and they ain't pulling out that deal for nobody.
But listen,
and the TV
if you're the
networks
NHL,
too.
Here's your choice. We could start last Wednesday with that would have gave Vegas 3 days off. We could start last Wednesday, and you have Wednesday to yourself, no NBA. Friday to yourself, no NBA. Monday to yourself, no NBA. It just boggles my mind.
Well, and if you're putting the game,
Now tomorrow there's 2 games on.
Again,
NBA and NHL.
And if you had this game on ABC or NBC where you're dealing with prime time, predetermined lineup, whatever. I don't know what's on ABC. It was an NYPD Blue or whatever one of those. I don't know, Dancing with the Stars, whatever it is.
The Voice.
If that was the situation, I'd understand it. But you're putting these games on TNT and TBS. You can find you can preempt an episode of Seinfeld. You know what I mean? If you wanted to move up.
Bite your tongue, by the way.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. Yeah. I was waiting for
Actually, there's not 2 games tomorrow. The NHL says, let's take an extra day off. They're going to go Thursday.
But there is a TNT app. There's a TBS app, but who the hell wants to go through all that? And you also
I'm just saying, are you locked in on a Saturday night in the summer for game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals and your team's not in it?
No.
But on a Wednesday night, you're sitting down after dinner. Hey,
it's a good night.
NHL Finals on tonight. Trust me, there's more eyes on you on that Wednesday night than that Saturday. This is going to be the worst rated NHL. This is going to be lower than like girls softball.
It might be.
Yeah, I was gonna say you think about NHL. Even though I love the NHL, I grew up watching the NHL. I used to go to City House back in the day. Used to go to all UAD Jesuit hockey games, and I went to UAD. All that. You got a 2-day window with me during the week for NHL game. Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Because usually there's good TV on Thursday. Usually good shows come on Thursday. Usually there's good NBA on Thursday. You got Tuesday or Wednesday with me to strike while the iron's hot. Maybe Friday, because it might have been a long week talking and bumping my gums, so Friday might be
Are you going to watch the NHL or are you going to watch the Tigers getting 1 hit?
Oh, God.
Oh, they back to that?
They suck. Dude, they suck.
It happened.
I mean,
we were just singing their praises.
They suck. What happened was their best pitcher got hurt and their best hitter got hurt.
Yeah.
And Javi Baez,
he disappeared again.
Listen, he's next to last in Major League Baseball for on-base percentage and slugging. He is 521. The low is 520.
The Detroit Tigers, man. See, I was trying to be very optimistic. I was the optimistic one. Said they would be in first place, and here we are. Javi Baez.
Can't account for the injuries.
We're only 4 down, but they're not competitive anymore.
Only 4 down. It feels like 20
only
because
4
they can't
down?
get a hit. They've scored 6 runs in the last
only
4
$10?
games.
Yeah,
they've scored
tough.
6 runs in 4 games.
You can't account for the injuries, but you can't account for Javi Baez turning back into the Javi Baez.
Yeah.
That was last year's disaster.
That was 16 hits in the last 4 games. It is the ball that Javi Baez struck out on yesterday.
Oh my God!
Was in Scranton, Pennsylvania, not in Philadelphia.
Shout out to the office.
God,
that was amazing.
I've never seen anything like. You see that stuff at 8-year-old. The 8-year-old
Braylon.
Is that one where they fall when they swing and miss and fall?
He needed 2 bats put together to hit the pitch.
The ball was at you, and I'm here. The plate is here, and he swung and missed.
Isn't this what Sky Harris talked about when he first got here?
Yes.
That's exactly
the
what
pitch
he's
selection.
talking about.
Listen,
that's exactly what he's talking about.
How are we going backwards, Javi?
I almost had Dan.
You got
Dickerson on
168
today.
million reasons why not to go backwards.
Dan can't say to bench Javi, but I can. Bench Javi.
Bench him.
We benched him once and it worked.
Bench him. Bench him for good.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you would indulge me, I did see a story about Michigan football, and if their schedule will hurt them this year early on, I'd like to do one segment on Michigan football if it's possible, and then we'll get to the NFL. Some Lions news as well. Dan Campbell talked about his quarterback Jared Goff.
Of course we can talk about Michigan. They're only, 2 24-1 the last 2 years in the Big Ten. I mean, might as well.
Just want to say
Only
something
about
about
90
Michigan.
days away.
And the Big
go.
Ten schedule, too. Some of those schedule dates were released.
We got it.
Peacock. But first, a message.
How do you watch that game, Ryan?
From Planet Fitness.
It's on Peacock.
All right, we all know Planet Fitness as a judgment-free zone where you can work out for just $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10. But as of right now, Planet Fitness is thrilled to allow high schoolers ages 14 through 19 in the U.S. and Canada to work out for free all summer long, all the way up until August 31st with their Planet Fitness High School Summer Pass. Teens can register as of right now and gain access to the club all the way up until August 31st. But that's not all, because Planet Fitness will also be giving away over $200,000 to high schools and students. Teens who register for the High School Summer Pass can help win a scholarship for their school and participate in a TikTok video contest for a chance to win academic scholarships. Visit the landing page for more information and legal disclosure at pfsummerpasscontest.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Yeah, it's still a very loud crowd here at T-Mobile Arena. Obviously, Vegas fans enjoying the less than ideal night for the Panthers after falling to the Knights. No. Oh my God, I'm the game you don't want to be, right? Let's get into the highlights.
Not today.
Not
Samantha
today.
Riviera, a sports reporter in Miami, in Vegas last night. Some guy tried to get in front of the
Wasn't
camera.
going for
She
it.
was not today. Not today.
You know what's interesting about that? But herein lies the problem with equality. Herein lies the problem with equality. Herein lies the problem looking at it from different angles. If that would have been a male reporter and that would have been a smaller guy and he would have pushed that guy and the guy would have failed, he would have sued just like the man sued Devontae Adams at the game after the Chiefs game.
Yeah, the photog.
If he would have, and he would have been doing that to keep someone out of the shot for ESPN, but he would have got fined.
Now, what if
for
a
that.
male reporter did that to a woman?
No
Man.
male reporter would ever do it. You'd just be like, "Come on in, come on in, lady, come on in."
Yeah, I don't think a guy would. You know what? No,
man.
it depends.
I ain't touching
It depends what month
nobody.
it is.
It depends.
You want to get on TV?
It depends
that
on what
bad,
type
If
of
it was
event
April,
you're at.
you'd be in trouble.
It depends on what type of event you're at. Because if you had a NASCAR race, I've been to some NASCAR races. Them women a little wild out there. NASCAR or roller derby from the 70s.
Wild and free. Wild and free. Hey guys, Michigan's season opener against East Carolina will air exclusively
Pirates.
on Peacock. You're going to have to subscribe to Peacock to get the Michigan-East Carolina game.
That's where it pays to be a WWE fan.
One of 5 games that were revealed where their broadcast is going to be. Of course, the Michigan-Ohio State game at 12 noon on Fox. That will be a game that's broadcast as well. But you're going to have a night game against Bowling Green. I hate the night game.
No.
You won't catch me dead at a night game. I don't care if it's Ohio State, Michigan State, Notre Dame. Not doing the night game. Noon on Fox against Penn State at Penn State.
Happy Valley.
Yeah. And then how about a 3:30 CBS game against UNLV?
What is this, Goff?
Yeah, right.
It's Goff.
The SEC. So.
We're on every channel. U of Michigan is on every channel.
It's like Ocean Spray Cranberry. They got Ocean Spray Cranberry with everything. I was saying with us, we're on every freaking channel. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, 2 games matter. And is the question, does this schedule affect us, Ryan? Does it hurt us? Is that the question there?
That's the question. I saw that article. I was like, what are you talking about? Just get in the...
That was our schedule last year.
So dumb.
That was our schedule the year before that. And at the end of the day, all that matters is that we beat Penn State, because somehow at the end of every season, Penn State is going to randomly be ranked 9th or 8th, so that will count as a big win. And you handle business in Columbus this year. It's in Ann Arbor, so we got them at home. All that matters is Ohio State and Penn State. And the last couple years, we have been destroying Penn State. In the last 2 years, we have been destroying Ohio State.
Fox, Peacock, CBS, Big Ten Network. Am I missing anything? I mean, you're talking about 4 different networks and 12 games. CBS in there.
Yeah.
I mean, 4
I'm
different.
sure ABC.
ESPN.
Yeah.
You're talking 5 different networks for 12 games. I'm not really. I used to love college football.
Yeah.
And I still do. I still love college football. College football used to, for me, was number 1 above the NFL.
Yeah.
I loved college football more so than the NFL. I love college football. It is chipping away. What is happening in college football with the coaches, with the transfer portals, with the NIL? It is with the networks.
Yeah, they each have their own network.
Just
SEC, Big
chipping
Ten.
away at my love for the game, and I'm not against it. I'm not against what's happening. Just for me as a fan of the game, it's kind of chiseling away piece by piece my love for that game.
Yeah, whenever there's limited access to anything, you crave it more. You want it more. Whether it's college football, whether it's college basketball, whether it's pistachios. I don't know where that came from. I've been craving for pistachios lately. But whatever there is, you want more and you want more. Well, what happened over the last 15, 20 years, Ryan? You got ESPN came out with 18 different channels. Then you got all these streaming channels. Now everybody's branching off from big broadcasts like NBC to Peacock. There's so much content, not to mention social media, not to mention the shows. There's so much content out there. Now the NFL, now college, starting to go the way of the NFL. Like the college landscapes, it looks like the NFL. The NCAA basketball looks like the NBA in terms of how these teams are played, how the players are being allowed to be paid, players allowed to be traded, essentially, which is a transfer portal. It's like the NBA, the NFL, and the purity of it is it's starting to listen. And you talking about got to play. Like the purity of it is leaving to a certain extent. Jordan Addison, like that was a major move, and I know we clown Narduzzi. We clown him for complaining. I'm not gonna lie, he has a point to a certain extent. When you're Pitt, and you give this guy opportunity,
it's like getting picked on by a bully.
Exactly. He comes to your school. Yeah. You put him in the limelight. You make him a Biletnikoff winner with his skills that you harness, that you hold, and then you get a USC that says, "Hey man, girls look a little better in LA than Pittsburgh. We got oceans out here. We have Ferraris." Like you start seeing stuff like that. Oh, you know what? Oh yeah. By the way, our school's a better school too. Yeah, I'm going out there for $5 million or $7 million, and that is the part now that's starting to kill you about college football and all over the place. Everything back in the day, every game to come on, whether it was NBC, ABC, ESPN, it was going to be a good game. Now, I don't want to watch Little Sisters of the Poor versus Little Sisters of the Peace.
Right.
Look, guys, it used to be special. So was baseball. Baseball had one national game on a week, and it was on a Saturday afternoon on NBC. We didn't have anything wrong. You looked forward to one game. College football, you had one freaking game, maybe two a week. You had Keith Jackson on ABC. You had Lindsey Nelson
you gotta
on
do the
CBS.
imitation, though.
That's it.
You got to do your Keith Jackson.
Oh, my goodness. The lunch bunch is here. Anyway, nonetheless, now it's just an oversaturation. And the sport that, to me, that took the biggest hit is college basketball, because you can watch 1,000 games a week on college basketball. And guess what? I don't watch it until March.
College
all right, that's what you did to
dead.
me. But I don't watch it until March.
But isn't this what we always talk about? Isn't this what you guys wanted?
It's too much.
You wanted more games, more access.
No, I said NFL more. Not everything else.
No, college
and the
football
NFL,
college football playoffs,
we want more, and we do, and I do want that.
Yes,
I do want that.
Playoff, yes.
Yeah.
Less regular season games, more playoffs. I want that for NBA and NHL as well, and for sure for Major League Baseball. I don't want to watch 162 freaking games. I don't.
Yeah. Right. I'd rather watch 148. 148.
Yes, that's it.
And then play another 2 weeks of.
That's it.
Or shorten the seat, or get done earlier before
double
November.
headers. You want 162? Yeah. Play 3 double headers a week.
Getting back to college football, I think that the love will come back. I think it is going to go the way of pulling you in with more games, better games at the beginning of the year. Because right now, I agree with you. It's kind of like you're trying to find 2 games in those first 4 weeks of somebody else. You're hoping a Texas plays Alabama. You're hoping USC and Oregon play week 1. Mm-hmm. You're hoping Georgia is playing against Clemson week 2 so that you have something to get to just for the first 4 weeks. And then after that, you get into those conference schedules and things heat up. But when you got Oklahoma, Texas, they're entering the SEC next year. Here comes USC, UCLA next year for the Big Ten. It's opening up. Things are going to start changing, getting the way of better games. We won't have to watch the Pirates of East Carolina or the Falcons of Bowling Green or the Red Hawks of Miami, Ohio sliding into the big house or the Rockets of Toledo. It's going to be more big-time games. Why are you smiling with that look on your face?
Because you're talking about this and you're striking up something that we all think the SEC is great. The SEC playing 8 league games.
I saw that.
8 league games. Everybody else plays 9. They don't want any part of any Power 5.
They're scared of it. Hell no.
They don't play any Power 5 opponents that are non-league either. So where Michigan will get crucified for their non-conference schedule.
Yeah.
It's fine for Alabama and Georgia and all these other teams because you know that tag SEC. You're playing friggin' Will Levis in Kentucky. They can't play. You think they're good? They suck. You know, Mississippi State sucks. Ole Miss had no defense. They suck. You know, Arkansas sucks. You know, all these teams suck.
But the difference is the athleticism, the skill sets that the SEC players pertain. There's a reason why the SEC leads the charge on players drafted every year. All of it isn't hype. When you look at
Big Ten right behind them.
This is Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State right behind them. Not the other one. But yeah, when you look at it from a standpoint, Texas A&M in there, who can beat Alabama. You got Alabama in there. Now you're gonna have Florida, who year after year they go up and down, up and down. You got Georgia, powerhouse. Alabama, powerhouse. LSU is my sleeper team to win the national championship this year. Powerhouse. You look at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is much better than people think. So their 8 strongest teams will destroy any other conference 8 for 8.
You know why LSU might win the national championship this year?
Because they got a coach that understands what it took to win.
Because they have built-in air conditioning in their helmets. Did you see this?
What?
Look at this.
This is an Instagram, but let it play too. You hear the play.
So that was a perfect setup.
Yeah, this is perfect. Right there.
You trying to get it?
Oh my God.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah, that's for real.
Yep, we got it for practice and games this season.
That's crazy.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
That.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
I feel good, bro. Swear. Swear. This is big though. But dude, if I'm running in this, I ain't sweating. At all. At all. It's like cold. Feel that shit. Whoa. Yeah. Hey, Ring. Yeah, nah, this got fire. I feel like.
And people wonder why people go to certain schools. I know that sounds dumb. You're like, oh, so they're going to go to school because they have AC in their helmets. Look at what most kids are rocking nowadays. Hair, dreads, twists, some form of hair. I wore braids in college. I had a beard in the NFL. It makes a difference. I know guys with hair lying and say, nah, we don't really feel it. Yes, you do. It is hot as hell under that helmet. And to have AC, LSU and Ohio State get it when it comes to their football program. They generate the most dollars, so they give most of the money to those programs. LSU don't get no money to basketball. LSU not giving money to baseball. LSU is giving money to the football program because that's how they pay those bills.
When you are outside playing in a game, or better yet, 2-a-day practices in 100-degree heat in August, and you have air conditioning in your helmet, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Extra when he rises. By the time he gets up there in that helmet, when you have when you put the helmet on, it goes down. this right here, this creates you to be more fresh, a little longer throughout practice, have better practices because of little things that go a long way.
Dan Campbell had interesting
air conditioning
take today when
what
it comes
the
to
hell?
his quarterback, Jared Goff. Actually made the front page of ESPN.com as well. We'll get to that next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Over 100 locations in the U.S. of A. You can walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. One for you, your wife, your girlfriend, your son, your daughter, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, whoever you want to give it to. That's right. All you have to do is get your hair cut at Lady Jane's. Lady Jane's, it's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
All right, let's talk a little Detroit Lions. Braylon,
They're still here.
They are in camp, mandatory minicamp. You remember how many times you showed up to mandatory minicamp, by the way?
Always.
Oh.
Always. I wasn't getting paid the king's ransom. Man. I had to be there to make sure my check's cleared. No, realistically, yeah, I made all minicamps. I made all minicamps.
Yeah.
I think I missed one OTA, and I think it's when Eric Mangini first came to Cleveland. I gave it a chance. Like I went day one and kind of sit there for that first week. I was like, man, I just got to do condom roll up. I'm going home. I bounced. I was out.
Now, when you're checked, when did you get paid as an NFL player? You get a check every week?
No, you get no, it's 2 weeks. Some teams do every 2 weeks. Some teams do first and last, like first and last.
So what was your rookie contract? Let's just go there.
Rookie contract.
You remember?
Yeah. Who doesn't remember that? 7 for 42.
Okay, so what was your check?
The
every
first
2
one?
weeks? Yeah.
Oh, so checks they changed because as a rookie, when I was playing, the bulk of your money is in your signing bonus.
Right.
So your signing bonus, like my signing, the first one I got was like, it was part of the signing bonus, but the first check I ever saw was $1.5 million. So I'm like looking at it, I was like, yo, I still have it. I still have it. Still got the pen. But
did you cash it?
But during the week,
wait, you still have the check or the $1.5 million?
Hey, both. You still got both, baby.
Okay, so go ahead.
But
now,
yeah,
what's your check look like?
No, it changes. So like the
God.
salary is different. So even though it was like 1.5, it was a couple other million for the bonus. Just the salary though was, I think I was making $5,800 a week, like during the season, like $5,800 because everybody, all rookies, are on the same salary.
So
Didn't
your
matter
check,
if you were the first round.
was like 11.6.
It was exactly. It was like it didn't went up, then it went up. The first time I noticed that the salary check, the week, every other week check went up was year 4 when I got my first check for the season. Because during the off season, unless you have bonuses or incentives, you're not really getting any money in. But the first season would have been 2008, and that check came, it was $151,000 for a week's of work. For a week's worth of work, I was like, to New York we go.
Did you have to go to the bookkeeper to make sure everything was in there?
Oh, 100%. My mom was on track of the books.
There you
man.
go.
So mom's always kept up with that.
Thank God for that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Attaboy.
So yeah, man.
Don't be cashing that check without mom
Thank
looking
God
at
for
it.
that. By the way, speaking of moms, I watched
Moms
Air.
do knows best.
I watched Air.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
Did you
watched
see
it.
Air?
Yeah, I did see it.
I liked it.
It was much better than I thought it was gonna be, but I think everybody said it was not bad. I mean, it wasn't good. So I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. I really appreciated the story, and now I want to go watch Soul Man. 30 for 30.
It's funny.
You will love that.
I did it right after.
Yeah.
So Maz talks about it all the time. Watched Air. Immediately watched Soul Man right after.
30 for 30.
Different story, if you will. Like, it's very interesting because you can take both sides. But with that Air, it's like it was good, but there are only like 3 good characters in the movie.
Yeah.
It was like
Chris
obviously
Tucker.
1, Viola Davis, 2,
and Matt Damon.
Wait, what was Chris Tucker?
Chris Tucker was
he was the black man. Like that was his role basically.
Yeah.
Like he was a black man. He was like getting black people in. He sliding that way.
Right.
That's his role. He's the buffer.
He was the reverend.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about the? I mean, I guess I'm not
It's
rooting.
okay.
Like everybody knows, like the story. Michael Jordan did sign with Nike.
Yeah.
Like you know the story, but.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, the agent. He was funny.
Yeah, but how about the line in the movie when James Jordan, Michael's dad, in the Nike meeting says, "Oh, look, the only black man in the room. You show up late."
He said, "You know how we do, baby. We always late." But you know what's so great about that? I'm glad you picked up on that. It's because Michael's father was more laid back, funny. Like he loved it. Meanwhile, his mom was like, "His mom late." like his mom didn't laugh at Chris Tucker's jokes because she knew what the play was. She knew that they placed him in the wrong for the color effect. But it was a good movie though.
And by the way, Chris Tucker has not aged in 30 years.
Smooth.
He has not aged in 30 years.
He doesn't curse. Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's the secret.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, I want to get into some Detroit Lions talk on the field in Allen Park. Mandatory minicamp going on. This is Dan Campbell talking about his quarterback, Jared Goff.
I mean, he's a better quarterback than he was there, in my opinion, because he can do more things. He's mentally on it. I mean, we've come light years ahead of where he was 2 years ago when we walked in and just started teaching him protections and really, dove into that.
Made the front page of ESPN.com, that comment right there saying that he is a better quarterback today than he was with the Rams.
I believe that, too.
I absolutely believe that. And that's how it should be, by the way. I mean, he is coming into his prime. He just now, maybe last year, was the start of his prime.
Yeah.
26, 27 years old. So he is entering now the next 7 years of his career will be his prime.
I look at it like this, whenever talked about Jared Goff, whether it was Brad Holmes, whether it was Dan Campbell, now they always have supported Jared Goff. They always have said he's our quarterback. They've always said he's our guy. They've never shied away from the fact that they wanted it to be Jared Goff. They want it, in present tense, to be Jared Goff. But this is the first time I've ever heard him use verbiage like this. He said, we've come light years from where he started to where you're at. When you use light years to say where someone started to where we've gotten, we is a word that means we're all together, which means Jared Goff is the pick for the Detroit Lions at QB. Jared Goff is the guy they want to be the guy, and bring Hendon Hooker up. They probably don't even want Hendon Hooker to work out because they want it to be Jared Goff. This is the first time I've heard something that not only let me know that not only are they supporting him because he's only $31 million versus $48 million, not only are they supporting him because he came with Brad Holmes in the deal that sent Matt Stafford out there to get his Super Bowl with LA Rams. They're supporting him because they believe in him. They're supporting him because they believe he's a leader. They're supporting him because they're like, no, we can win, not in spite of, but with him. This is the first time I actually seen it, and actually it's good to see. I think Jared Goff is the guy they want. In fact, I know it's the guy they want for the future.
Hey, they traded their last overall #1 pick to get Jared Goff, who was a #1 overall pick. So him and Matthew Stafford are up the same racetrack. That is not the same kind of quarterback.
Good point.
But when he comes here, and he's still in his 20s, and he was a throw-in the deal. Hey, we'll make this deal, but you got to take Jared Goff in his contract. Brad Holmes like, yeah, you're damn right. Okay, we'll take him. What'd they teach him to do? They taught him to hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
Don't fumble it. Remember the first year he was fumbling like it had Vaseline on the ball. He doesn't fumble anymore. And how many interceptions did he throw last year?
4.
I don't know.
Seven.
And how many down the stretch?
Maz, 29 touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
It is a franchise record for touchdowns to interception ratio. He went over 350 consecutive passes without an interception. That was the 5th best, I believe, in NFL history. What he did last year, why they won down the stretch, simple. He protected the football.
He's doing what they told him to do.
To put it in context, you hear 358 tosses. Sometimes you'll know what that is. That's 10 games. That's 10 games. To not have a turnover for 10 games. That's how you win.
And I think that comes too with command of the offense, with the offensive coordinator. He's in a system for a couple of years now. The talent around him is better. He had a higher grasp of the material in the playbook, a chemistry with the players running the routes. Remember that first year, the two big free agent signings that the Detroit Lions had were Rashad Perriman and some dude from the Chargers.
Wide receiver.
That they ended up cutting. Neither guy made the team. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a 4th-round pick.
Quintez Cephas for the first 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, it was really remarkable. So
then he put a bet in.
It's not what you are. It's where you go. It's who's going to support you. He came to the right situation at the right time. He was a broken man from the Rams experience. Sean McVay sneaks out to go get Matt Stafford in the middle of the night, and Cabo lies about it, ships him off. He kept a positive attitude. He came here in search of Jared Goff. He came here to figure out who the hell he was and what he was made of. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, and this team of young guys, young players. That's why I said it's where you go. He went to a situation where there weren't a bunch of veteran guys who had a certain opinion of him. He didn't go out there with stud wide receivers that were like, man, this quarterback can't throw. We need to go get other guys. He went there with a young team, young nucleus, young coaching staff. They can figure it out together. They've overcome everything that they were. The Lions being terrible and Jared Goff having insecurities, they've overcome that together. These things, they're a package deal for a very long time. We keep talking about Jared Goff isn't the guy they're going to pay $45 million to. Jared Goff's not the guy that they want moving forward. I think most of us got it wrong.
I want to talk about that a little bit more. Did we get it wrong? Is he going to be the guy? We can address that and go around the NFL. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Randy Wise.
All right, it is a Tuesday, right? So what could be better than watching celebrities like Braylon Edwards and D-Mac play golf? Playing golf yourself, being treated like one of those celebrities. That's what. Stop at any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a tasty steak, courtesy and compliments of Fairway Packing. Make the wise decision. Get to a Randy Wise today for your chance to win and play golf like a celebrity.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
I think it is worth considering now Jared Goff being the long-term solution at quarterback for the Detroit Lions. And again, you can hear it for yourself. I want to play this Dan Campbell soundbite for you. This is earlier today. Here's Dan Campbell.
I mean, he's a better quarterback than he was there, in my opinion, because he can do more things. He's mentally on it. I mean, we've come light years ahead of where he was 2 years ago when we walked in and just started teaching him protections and really, dove into that.
Again, just to recap it, I believe him. I think Jared Goff is a better quarterback than he was in L.A. I almost said St. Louis. And I think
he was in St. Louis. He got drafted.
I do think it is worth thinking about and really considering this guy being the long-term solution for the Detroit Lions. And I know Hendon Hooker is there, but if this guy has better numbers than he did a year ago, in which he threw a franchise record touchdown to interception ratio, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. And again, we mentioned over 350 passes without throwing a pick. In his career, he did that. I just think that he will write his own story.
Yeah.
If he wins a division championship, if he wins a playoff game, if he goes to the NFC championship game, I have a hard time believing they're not going to extend him.
People can get better, man. And I think what we keep looking at, and let me stop saying we. What I kept looking at as it relates to Jared Goff, he's not mobile. He's not. He's very insecure. He doesn't have success unless everything around him is perfect. Can't win the big game. Can't win in the big moment. Very inconsistent. That's how I looked at him, and I'm thinking, all right, so he did it 1 year. So what? Anybody can do something once. Is that who he's going to be for the rest of his time? Is that something he's going to continue to be? If you give him a big deal, the year after giving him the deal, are we going to be looking at a situation like Dak Prescott, where you're like, why did we give this man all this money? That's how I thought about it. Not the fact that somebody can get better if they have the right support, if he takes it serious, if he gets his confidence back, if his confidence goes to another level. That's what you're seeing with Jared Goff. Not only does he have his confidence back, now he has players around him. He has a great offensive line around him. He has a great coaching staff, so we believe, around him. He has a really good front office. He has Brad Holmes around, and he has trust. He has fan base that support him. He's gotten better and better. I mean, just look at the Eagles. You're talking about a situation with Jalen Hurts, where 2-3 years ago, we didn't know if he was a starter.
But last 12 months ago.
It's 12 months ago. You don't even know if he's the guy. They had 2 picks in the first round just in case. Howie Roseman said, we're going to give him this chance, but just in case, we still got 2 picks in the first round.
And they tried to trade for Russell Wilson last year.
And they tried to trade for Russell Wilson. But he got better. He went out there to California, worked with the same guy Lamar Jackson, been working with Aaron Rodgers, have been working with countless other stars. He was there learning the playbook, learning his players. He's gotten better and better and better. It's possible when you have support. It's possible when people like Nick Sirianni and Dan Campbell say, you know what, stop meeting people where you want them to be and meet people where they are. It's possible. And it's possible that Jared Goff has just become the future of the Lions.
Maz, I want to ask you, because you and I have been the most critical of Goff and the need for a replacement over 2 years since day one, since he got here. Are you at least entertaining the idea of him sticking around for a long time, Hendon Hooker or no Hendon Hooker?
Yeah, I am.
Same.
I am. But you know what? Like you said, he's going to write his own story. If he comes back this year with a year like last year or even better, he's in.
No-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, a season like last year would definitely get him in there. But he's got to do it again. Mm-hmm. He's got to do it again because he's done it once. Like you said, you got to do it. Anybody can do something once. Geno Smith's got to do it again.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
He's got to do it again.
They feel like they're in the same boat a little bit as quarterbacks who are starting on really good teams right now, playoff teams. Many people, well, if you're in the Detroit Lions organization, if you're in the Seattle Seahawks organization, everybody in those organizations believe they can represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And those two organizations have quarterbacks that could be replaced in 2 seconds.
2 things. One thing is something funny that Geno Smith just said after he was talking to reporters. I'll tell you what that was. But the other thing is the one thing with Jared Goff, though, you got to make sure the offensive line is what it is. Right now, one of the biggest selling points in the Detroit Lions, man, tell me I'm wrong, how good the offensive line is. The protection time, the coverage that Jared Goff saw last year because of it, the sacks that he was able to not get because of it. You got to keep that fresh. Taylor Decker already re-signed Frank Ragnow with the toe. What's up with that? Penei Sewell, we know we'll get him under wrap. What's the next thing? Left guard, right guard. What are we going to do? Glasgow comes back. You got to make sure the offensive line stays intact for Jared Goff. Funny thing, they asked him about leadership. Talking about Geno Smith, asked him about leadership. He said, how do you lead being a guy and blah, 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 blah. I think being on the bench. He said, I've always been a leader. Even on the bench, I was a leader. He said, you don't become a leader because you're the starter. You become a leader by what you do and consistency and the things that you put into the game. Ain't that the same dude that was showing up late to meetings? Ain't that the same dude? That's why he left the Jets. Ain't that the dude that snitched on his teammates and got dropped? Just because you made comeback player of the year or most improved, don't start acting like you was perfect the whole time. There were some reasons you've been moving team to team to team. Phillip Rivers put some of that stuff out there too. So don't just all of a sudden you a different dude.
He met his guy. He met his. He met the king. He met Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll got him straight.
Pete Carroll's like, look, you can take this and deal with it. So
And I don't think you could underscore what Ben Johnson has meant to Jared Goff. Yeah. I think Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, all three of them collectively have put a game plan together, and by game plan I mean, of course, the X's and O's, but the roster creation, the development, and all the like. They have put Jared Goff in a position to succeed. So many times in professional sports, and you know this better than I do or anybody else does in this room anyway, organizations will get a talented player and try to get the talented player to do what they want to do. Instead of the organization looking at the type of talent they have and building something off of what they do well, what the individual player does well. And those are the organizations that win. Those are the organizations that succeed. The ones that take the talents of the players that they have and gear an offense or a defense or anything else to what that particular player does best.
When you create something, it's special. When you create something that's special, the people you create it with, you always remember those people. It's always special. It's going to be one of those things like with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. They're going to see each other again down the line. Like, they built this thing together, how they wanted to throw the plays, how they wanted to see the actions, the motions, the players, the type of receivers you want to use for the offense, running backs, etc. They will see each other down the line. I don't know, maybe Jared Goff goes out to Los Angeles, man, in 7 years or so.
Shut up.
Who knows?
Shut up. Shut up.
I'm just saying, man, you know. We give him 7 years, you know, you be the next young stud.
Shut up.
You can let Jared Goff. You can let Jared Goff go make $10 million on the bench.
For those of you who don't know what we're referring to, it's when his, I think now wife or
fiance,
Harper,
who is a swimsuit model, was doing a swimsuit shoot, and somebody told her that the Lions won a game, and this is 2 years ago when they beat Minnesota. Final play of the game when Goff threw a touchdown pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
She bounced her way right up to that.
Shut up. The Detroit Lions won. Shut up.
Not only is that funny, this is funnier too. Talk about LSU and them air conditioning helmets, and talk about the little things and how it matters. Mom just texted me. It was like, what? They got air conditioning helmets? That's championship football. My mom understands that that's championship football. I guarantee if I was back in, she'd be like, hey, you know, LSU got the helmet. They got the AC and the helmets. You might want to consider
Michigan
that.
better get on
That's
that.
a real deal.
When you're running them gassers after practice,
I'm trying to tell you.
You might not have players passing out.
I don't care what anyone says about heat. Michigan is a very humid place. Detroit, because of the lake effect, we understand that. There is no heat that I have ever seen that rivals Louisiana. Louisiana heat is a different breed. I was at a track meet, Junior Olympics, USATF National Championships, 1993. They had to put cold water on the starting line where you put your hands, Ryan. Like when you're in the starting blocks, had to put cold water on it because it was 115 degrees, but it was that on you heat. Felt like a gorilla was hugging me while I was running.
That's gross.
Yeah, I don't. That's why LSU leads the NFL in terms of players drafted every year. LSU, man, I don't know how they deal with that.
I'd rather live in Antarctica than Louisiana.
I agree with you. You know I like the cold.
Oh, man, baby. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. Come right back. When we do, there is a leader in the clubhouse when it comes to who will replace Shannon Sharp. Opposite Skip Bayless.
Why is he leaving?
Why is he leaving? We'll have that, but first, coming up, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, their 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization, we serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, big media news. And my buddy, by the way, Eamon Lynch, this guy.
Oh, it's your buddy now.
Right?
It's your buddy
Co-host
now.
of Golf Today on the Golf Channel, just wrote a story. PGA Tour deal with LIV reduces elite golf to public relations for a tyrant. So at least he's consistent. At least he's consistent.
Yeah, you can't write a story 3 days ago and try to retract now. You got to double down, triple down. Shoot.
Guys, I wanted to do this story for a couple of days, and I'm glad we're doing it now. Because there's not too many people that have changed the business, in my opinion, quite like Skip Bayless has.
Yeah.
What he did on Cold Pizza with Woody Page, and then with Stephen A. Smith, and then he leaves for Fox Sports and got, at the time, the biggest contract ever by a sports media personality. I believe it was a 4-year, $40 million deal. Now it's, now they just keep going up. But at the time when he left, that was unheard of. Shannon Sharpe, though, apparently leaving undisputed after the NBA Finals. Braylon?
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation that's been brewing with Shannon and Skip for, you can even say about a year and a half. You can see it happening. I think the biggest thing that I point out is just after Skip did an open letter, I want to say last year, to Shannon Sharpe. It was talking about his friend. It was talking about his buddy. I think they were celebrating year 5, if I'm not mistaken. It's talking about his buddy. But the letter really didn't mention Shannon, but 1 or 2 times it really kept talking about the other guy at ESPN. You're so much this guy at ESPN. He's talking about Stephen A. Smith, and he was talking like you use an open letter to Shannon to really take shots at Stephen A. Smith. The entirety of the open letter, I think that's where it started. There was another segment where Skip went on there and saying that Tom Brady was way better. I can't remember the exact of the conversation, but it was Tom was way better than you. You weren't even the best player on your team, like to a certain extent. Right. You remember that conversation?
Of course.
And Shannon's one of those things where Skip is a very fake person as it relates to the segments, just as the segments, because hey, I'm gonna take this side, you take that side. And I think when you're going into it, this is how our model, our format works. All right, cool. But I think it carried over to real life. I think it carried over to each segment. I think it carried to Shannon getting dragged into some things, Skip saying some things, and Shannon like, whoa, I didn't know we were ever going to take shots at me. I didn't know that I was up for clickbait as well. Shannon started realizing those things, and then obviously the incident with DeMar Hamlin where Skip tweeted out, and since then you found out why Skip made that comment. But that blow up on the show between Shannon and Skip, they could never really recover from that, because I think Shannon views it one way, Skip views it another, and I think Shannon's like, hey, got to strike while the iron's hot. He's got Club Shay Shay. They're giving him that mile as well. He's allowed to take that wherever he goes. So, shoot, if Pat McAfee can do it, I'm Shannon. Why not me?
Well, that's where this business is a unique one. There are when Skip Bayless went to Fox, when Colin Cowherd left ESPN, when Dan Patrick left ESPN. Yeah. There are very few people in this business that could go off on their own without the benefit of those 4 letters or those 3 letters and make something real of themselves. There are a million now. Shannon Sharpe could go to ESPN if he wants to.
I don't think he goes there.
I don't know what he does, but to go off on your own is not easy.
It's not.
We'll see how. That's why most people don't do it. I mean, even Pat McAfee, he's going from his own to ESPN because of what those 4 letters do for you, or what those 3 letters for you. Look at what we're doing. We could probably do what we do on our own, but we've got Woodward Sport. You know what I mean? Like, Woodward Sports here doing everything for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can, but what I'm saying is,
yeah, you're right though.
It is so hard.
I come and do a show,
right?
I don't have to do the preparation.
I know.
I don't have,
So I always say, be careful what you wish for. In these, for Shannon Sharpe to make the money that he makes at Fox, it's real hard to recreate that kind of money somewhere else.
It is hard. It is technically hard to recreate that type of money, but what if you don't have to leave Fox? He's leaving Undisputed. He's not necessarily leaving Fox.
That's a good
Network.
point.
He's huge with Fox.
That's a good point.
He's huge with Fox right now.
You're
like
right about
his
that.
6-7 years with Skip. Now I will say that being with Skip, he was allowed to find himself. Look, he's Uncle. He's Uncle Shay Shay.
He's like Jim Harbaugh, though. Skip Bayless is like Jim Harbaugh. After a couple of years, he's gonna wear you out.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
because you start to see what it is. He's a machine as it relates to just he's a machine in takes. He's a like some of the stuff he says he doesn't believe in. Like he's the same guy that's been dogging LeBron off for the better part of how many?
It's a shtick.
It's a stick. It's a stick. But I believe he helped Club Shay Shay, Uncle Shay. Like he's like he now has the personality.
Yeah.
Knows how he wants to do it. He's got the Black and Miles on set. He's got the Laportier vodka or cognac that he's doing. He has honed his own from working with Skip Bayless.
Without question.
100%. But it's going to be fun to watch because I think he's like Pat. We know Pat's stick, and it's fun. We tune
Pat
in
McAfee?
for it. Yes.
I was listening to a little bit of him today. I'm not a fan of his.
It's certain,
not for everybody.
It's not. He's not for me.
He's a fast talker.
That's why he was good. That's why he was so good in WWE.
Yeah.
He was perfect for pay-per-view WWE.
I listened to him for 2 minutes today, and I was like,
I'm tired.
I mean, and look, there's a lot of people that can't listen to me. I get it. I've got people that I like. I got people that I don't like. I don't take offense to it.
Yeah.
I just Pat McAfee is not for me.
I heard Shannon's done with Fox. Period.
Maybe.
I heard he's done. They gave him everything he wanted.
Right.
He signed off of Fox. He's not going to be with them.
In that case, he'll be able to do some bigger things. I already saw on his page he had this gardening thing that looks like it had some super high-end camera equipment for this. So he's working with somebody, and he's got to spend. One of these things about getting into TV, getting in media, you start realizing, hell, I know a little bit more about sports than football. I guess I'm just using that for me because I play. You know what? I'm actually learning. I actually like more things than sports.
Right.
And I think as you're on air, on TV, on radio, whatever, your personality evolves. Like you're able to give who you really are. You get more confident. Like telling you, hey, you know what? I like Star Wars. Oh, that didn't go on. So as you get in it for a while, you start to just come into your own and like, you know, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can touch this. Why am I just limiting myself to this desk?
You couldn't say it any better if you tried, because depending upon any particular platform you're on, you get pigeonholed into just that. How many times do we say stick to sports or stay in your lane? Like these things that we hear so much. So
it's so funny you said, when I was working for Big Ten Network, one of the things I hated. One of the things I hated.
You worked at Big Ten Network?
So long ago. Let's not get into why they fired me. No, I'm joking. No, but it just, they always wanted you to keep it clean. They always wanted you to stay tight with a suit. They always wanted you to stay tight to, let's just talk about
Life
Penn State
isn't like
football.
that,
let's
man.
just talk about Maryland. Let's talk about the academic side of things. I was like, look, I want to talk about the players getting in trouble. I want to talk about in a different way. And it just, you give examples, they roll their eyes at certain analogies and examples you looked at. I was like, man, this stiff ass ain't for me.
LaShawn McCoy, you like him? He's being talked about as the replacement for Shannon Sharpe on not First Take.
Oh, Shady McCoy.
What is it?
Speak First. Undisputed. Undisputed. Yeah, he's on Speak First now. Undisputed. Former NFL star co-host of Speak One, Sean McCoy, could replace Shannon Sharpe as Skip Bayless part on Undisputed. I disagree. They're only using him because his name is out there. He's on Speak First. You see him right at 4 o'clock, I do believe. He also does a lot of stuff with the pivot. He's funny as hell. He's one of the best running backs in the last 25 years. What he did in Philly and Buffalo, he was cold. Like, the boy was absolutely
cheap tipper, though.
He's not the only one. He's not the only one. But when you talk about what Shannon was able to do with Skip Bayless, Shannon played football. Shannon's a Hall of Fame football player, one of the top 5 best tight ends of all time. Shannon can talk basketball. Shannon actually might know more about basketball especially LeBron James. Then he knows about football. He can talk surface, other sports. He comes with facts. He comes with knowledge. He comes with that cachet. Yeah, LaShawn McCoy, he's got funny phrases. He's got funny things. But Unc knows how to work those funny phrases and funny catchphrases into his commentary, into his content, and it's almost flawless. I don't know if Shady is on that level of Skip Bayless where he can handle Skip Bayless, because with Skip Bayless for a full year, 5 years is what Shannon does, 6 years. I don't see Shady being able to handle that.
Whether Abbott and Costello, Regis and Kelly Ripa. I mean, some of these duos, Jordan and Pippen, some of these duos, though, that break up, they
actually hate each other.
They hate each other.
Yeah.
And it's so wild to me that you just can't, you make so much money that you can't get along with the person that helps you make so much money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But there's also a lot of things behind closed doors. Like, who knows what? Let's just throw this out there. Who knows what Skip is really, really like? In that sense,
right.
And what he says, and what conversations have happened in the green room, the maker room.
But Skip Bayless, I mean, Kelly Ripa hated Regis Philbin. Regis Philbin handpicked Kelly Ripa, and now she makes.
Did she really hate him?
Yes,
I thought it was the other way around.
No, they've not spoken. Well, now he's
dead.
passed away, but they did not speak one day after he retired. And like, she made $20 million a year.
But what if he was a sexist pervert?
He wasn't.
I'm throwing out context
if
to
that
Joy.
If
Joy
that
was
was the
his girl.
case, fine. But I just don't know. Like, if somebody gives you the opportunity to change your life like that,
right.
Chances are I'm at least going to be at least cordial with you.
But I think,
But
I think you look at it from the standpoint of someone giving someone something. Nobody gave Shannon Sharp anything. He took the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about different stuff.
But okay, we
we're
were Kelly
all given
Ripley.
opportunities. What we do with those opportunities is up to us.
But
you have to be given that opportunity.
But just because you gave me an opportunity doesn't mean you can be a piece of you know what. Because if you're a piece of you know what, then I have the right to be like, I know I was given the opportunity by you, but you know what, F you.
Right, and I'm not saying it's all Shannon Sharp. I'm saying even Skip Bayless. How you can't get along with now 3 friggin' partners, whether it's Woody Page, Stephen
about Woody.
and now Shannon Sharp. I'm not saying about this is not mutually exclusive to Shannon Sharp. This is Skip Bayless. How you can't get along with people that help you make all the money that
he
you
wears
make.
them out.
And he wears them out.
And I think
he wears them out.
You know what it gets to, man? For being 100% correct, you could say the same thing, Ryan. I know we're going to commercial. My apologies, but I think Skip has it in him when he feels like someone is equal or someone has surpassed. Notice that's when these moves happen. Stephen A. Smith became equal and actually surpassed Skip. What did Skip do? Now, he got paid the deal of a lifetime, but it just so happens that it coincided. Once Stephen A. Smith became, now he's got a boat. Now that Shannon Sharp has taken his brand way up here, and now I brought Shannon. When you think Undisputed, you don't think it's Skip, even though we know it's his show. Now all of a sudden Shannon's leaving too. I don't think Skip can handle being surpassed.
That very well could be the case. There's no doubt about it. That could absolutely be the case.
He's protecting his territory.
Guys, we got to take Guys, we got to take a break.
He ran from Colin at ESPN too, and Colin followed him.
We got to take a break, but first a message from Dispo.
Oh, that would be me. Elevate your senses and embrace the harmony of nature at Dispo Dispensary. Whether you're a seasoned connoisseur on our new or life plan journey, Dispo has over 10 locations with experienced bud tenders ready to serve your needs. Ann Arbor, Hazel Park, Battle Creek, Jackson, Bay City North, Lansing, Bay City South, Portage, Camden, and Romeo. Romeo is the one for me. Check them out now, Dispo.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. I love Woodward sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward sports merch today.
Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, last segment of the day. Ryan Ermanni.
Ooh-wee.
22 years ago, one of the most iconic. One of the most. I know you're already feeling old.
Oh, I'm already feeling it.
One of the most iconic plays and pictures happened in NBA and pro sports history. Here is the picture. It is Allen Iverson in Game 1 of the Finals, stepping over Tyronn Lue after he hits a two-pointer. Now, the misconception is that it was a three. It was actually a two-pointer, steps over him, and he keeps walking. Game 1 was stolen by the Allen Iverson, Philadelphia. They win Game 1, then they lose 4 in a row.
Yeah, they got swept after that, right?
But I got to win.
Yeah,
he didn't get swept. When you look at that picture, is that the most iconic picture in terms of disrespectful iconic picture? NBA playoffs history for you.
Ooh.
Disrespectful, disrespect.
Did he go right to the casino after that?
He only do that in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
That was only in Detroit.
That's interesting. I'd have to think about that.
That's a real one.
That's a real. I mean, you sent that today, and I was like, I cannot believe that was 21, 22 years ago.
I was in college.
You really made me feel old.
23 years ago, I want to say.
Oh, my gosh. 2001, right? So 22 years ago.
Because, I mean, you look
2000,
at
2001.
2000 season, 2001 finals. Because I look at that, and I'm like, he hit a two-pointer, stepped over him. It's at the Staples Center.
Larry Brown coached Philadelphia
Larry
team
Brown
too, right?
He had to start somewhere and figure it out.
Oh, man.
I mean, what else comes to mind? The Brandon Knight.
I've been thinking of it.
DeAndre Jordan, Brandon Knight. But that wasn't the playoffs, though.
I got one. What about Reggie Miller doing the choke to
Oh, that's a troll of all time.
So that's a damn good one. But here's the interesting.
But he did that to
Spike Lee.
That was the question. He didn't do it to it, but players saw him do it though.
Yeah.
Like if I'm on the New York Knicks at the time and Reggie Miller is doing this, I don't care that he's doing it to Spike. He's still doing it about
I hated him for it, and I love
that's
Reggie
a good
Miller.
one.
But you're right about it.
What about Dame Lillard?
We got one here. Ali standing over Liston.
It's not NBA, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali always counts.
Very disrespectful. Hey, man, fun stuff today.
We got some more,
great. Maybe we'll get one of Jokic standing over
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
Hemi Butler. Maybe Kevin Love, because Kevin Love probably wouldn't be able to get up. You know, we'll talk about them tomorrow because they stole one, Maz.
Right.
They did.
Maz, you said they were going to win one, and they did win one. So tomorrow, we'll talk about them ahead of Game 3, maybe.
Tigers Phillies tonight.
Who?
Bryce Harper's back. Yeah. You know, Bryce is one of my guys. He's a D-bag, but I love him.
We're going to miss you tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm doing I'll be out on
you and me again, Bray.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Doing
you and me again.
A lot of fun. Let's do it.
Parkinson's fundraiser tomorrow out on Lake St. Clair.
I wonder if my boy Dr. Islander is going to be there.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. It's a big fundraiser out on Lake St. Clair tomorrow for the Parkinson's Foundation.
Sweet.
So we'll keep an eye, and we will think about Kirk Gibson tomorrow too. Trying to raise money for
is he coming to get a haircut?
Organizations.
Does Nicole know you're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't she?
No, just check
yeah.
Just check it.
Funny. I like to go out on these.
You guys, knock it
things.
off.
Yeah. All right, guys, get us out of here, Bray.
Hey, hell of a show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll talk about Denver Nuggets as well as Miami Heat. Who's going to win Game 3? Anybody's guess is as good as mine. For JB Parker in the studio. Congrats, Parker. My first time with you fully in there. Good stuff. Parker. Uncle Maz, I'll see you tomorrow at the desk.
You bet, buddy.
Ryan, have fun at that event. Shout out Parkinson. We'll see you guys. Thank you for supporting another Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.